If you remember back to that infamous segment where Cody Rhodes handed over his WrestleMania spot to The Rock, that took place on the road to WrestleMania. It comes off of, Cody winning the Rumble back-to-back years, making it very clear he was going to challenge Roman Reigns. It was all set. And whenever that segment went down, we all expected Cody to come out and make it official. He was going to challenge Reigns for a second straight year, try to finish the story. That didn't happen. Instead, we did see Cody hand over that spot to The Rock, and the backlash was everywhere. You had the fans saying, we want Cody. You had everything take off from there, which would lead us to our eventual destination at WrestleMania 40, where Cody did challenge Roman Reigns. He finished the story. The Rock was involved in the tag team match on night one. You had the WrestleMania kickoff event where everything sort of kickstarted leading into that big show. But Brian Gewirtz, former WWE writer, works with The Rock, has had certainly a role, I think, in the creative process of everything with The Rock since he's returned to WWE, had a very interesting comment on what was supposed to happen during that segment with Cody Rhodes and The Rock. We've all said, not everyone, I think there's some people who still truly think that this was the plan from the start, and as much as they try to convince us, I don't think this was the plan from the start, where they knew that the backlash was going to be what it was, to the point to where they would have to change things, go with a tag team match, all of that. We understand, I think, at this point, WWE wanted to do The Rock versus Roman Reigns. And The Rock wanted to do Rock versus Roman Reigns. We know that, right? That was the destination, it seemed like, at the beginning. But because the response was what it was, because there were so many people who were making it loud and clear that they wanted Cody, they were able to twist that and make it work. And it worked out for the better, I think, because you got Heel Rock coming out of this, you got Cody finishing the story, everything now with Roman moving forward with the bloodline. You've got a lot of potential options. I think way more options than you would have had previously by just doing straight up The Rock babyface versus Roman Reigns the heel. I think now there's plenty more to work with, years of stories to work with. But what Brian Gewirtz had to say directly involved Cody Rhodes' reaction whenever he did hand over that spot to The Rock, and what Cody was supposed to do in that. Now, before I give you the full version here, I'm going to give you the transcript of what he said, because I think a lot of words in this are important. There are also some people that think, hey, this may just be them working this, right? We've been worked before when it comes to this whole story with The Rock and everything. Maybe this is part of the work, okay? Or maybe this is actually what was supposed to happen. And let me tell you what was supposed to happen, because here's the quote from Brian Gewirtz on the Cody situation, everything that happened leading up to WrestleMania 40. Quote, Cody is a human being who is genuine and real, and he wears his heart and emotion on his sleeve. In Alabama, certainly, so remember, Alabama, that's where the edition of SmackDown took place, where they had the handoff, if you will. Certainly, even if you tell me that would never work, it's stupid to propose it. The idea was supposed to be, it's like the Nixon-Kennedy debate, a little bit, where you read the transcript, you're like, Nixon kicked his ass. If you watch the actual footage, oh, he was a sweaty, terrible mess. Cody, it was supposed to be, in some form, yeah, fucking A, go get him, Rock. You're going to get your ass kicked, Roman. Let's do this. Just let that sink in for a second. Continued. And this uplifting promo. Instead, he looked like someone shot his dog in the face in the parking lot. Just look at his expression. By the way, someone else, even when the team wins, looks forlorn and upset and despondent. That, I don't think, helped matters. It might not have changed or affected anything. Certainly on paper, and I don't blame Cody for that. He's real and one of the realest people I've ever met. He said what he had to say in the promo, but you couldn't mask what he was really feeling. And I think the fans felt that a lot. They felt like he doesn't mean a word of this. This is being forced for him to say. He's despondent. He's literally doing the Michael Cera Arrested Development, Charlie Brown walk out of the arena when he's supposed to be on cloud 9. I think that had a lot to do with it. End quote. Boy, there's a lot to take from that. So, we're not going to go too long here, but I want to just address one part of this. The idea, if this was actually the case, and like I said, they're not working us. Let's just say they're not working us. Let's go with the fact that maybe this is the idea they were working with. They truly thought that Cody going out and gifting this spot to The Rock after Cody just went and eliminated, 29 other men, not actually, but he survived over 29 other men in the Royal Rumble to earn his WrestleMania spot against Roman Reigns to get his revenge after Solo Sikoa interfered the year before to cost Cody a shot at the championship. And we were supposed to have Cody come out and put himself in a situation where after he went through all of this for the past year, and then he wins the Rumble, and he's finally back there to that spot. Everybody wants to see it. Roman's going to finally get what he has coming to him. There was really the thought that Cody was just going to step aside for The Rock, and not only that, but also cheer on The Rock as if he's Bret Hart at WrestleMania IX, cheering on Hulk Hogan to go get Yokozuna. Go get him, Hogan. You got it, Hulkster. Go get him. That was one of the most panned things in the history of WWE, WrestleMania especially, when that happened. And it's not the exact same scenario, but if you really thought that there was a time where Cody was going to do that and everybody was going to be okay with that, that was a problem. And I think the fact is, hey, let's remember what we got to. Ultimately, they made the right move and we got there. But the thought that this was actually something that they were considering, which, again, we know by the results that it was certainly something they were considering because they did the angle. They did the segment. But the fact that Cody was supposed to be all excited about this, I find that pretty wild because I just don't know how, based on the story, that they would have believed that Cody should be in that position or that people would have actually bought Cody being excited for The Rock to be the one to challenge Roman Reigns for the championship that Cody was trying to win. I just don't know how they got to that point. But again, they got it right eventually. And I think when you just kind of look at that full quote in the context of it, it is interesting because I'm just thinking if they would have actually went through with this, and maybe you still have the backlash to Cody, right? Or backlash to the actual segment, but maybe it's not as strong. Maybe it's a little bit less to the point they're like, you know what? We can get by with this. We'll take the hit. We know there's going to be some people that are pissed off, but we'll take the hit and we'll still do The Rock and Roman Reigns. You just wonder how different things would be right now, coming out of WrestleMania and now into this sort of season where, as usual, you kind of have, that lull, right? It happens post-WrestleMania every single year, no matter how hot kind of the product is. Sure, there have been some exceptions to the rule, but you wonder where things would be at right now had they went that direction. But I cannot look at this and just completely push aside the idea that they really thought that this was what Cody was supposed to do. And the thought that Cody was supposed to do this, and then it's like, wait a second, will Cody go off the script? Did he not do what they were supposed to do? Did Cody, mean to do this? Or was it just so he understood once he got out there and he saw the reaction that he had to be the one to sort of sit there and call the audible and say, I cannot do this, right? Like, that's a very wild and fascinating thing. And maybe this WrestleMania 40 documentary, maybe they show some of that stuff leading up to that, whenever that gets released. Because remember, we did do the YouTube short recently, where it was actually Brian Gewirtz on the same interview on the Masked Man show, who kind of teased that this documentary was coming soon and that it wasn't supposed to be promoted as early as it was. But you just go back to some of the wording here, and I think of this and I'm thinking, what if we actually would have saw a scenario where Cody is out there going, go get him, Rock. You're going to get your ass kicked, Roman. Like Cody all fired up, right? We've seen Cody fired up. Can you imagine that after everything Cody had been through with Roman Reigns, the bloodline, winning another Royal Rumble, everything? You could not have asked for a better scenario for Cody to finally finish his story. And yet, could you just think of the visual of looking back and saying, instead of what we got with the hug, Cody walking out, they did the, kind of visual. They looked at Cody as he's walking out. And instead, it's Cody in the ring, all fired up, and him and The Rock are giving high fives and smacking each other, on the back. And wow, I don't know if I can believe it. But apparently it is something that was supposed to happen. And if you thought the backlash was bad then, imagine what that backlash could have been even further out and where WWE would be at right now had Cody not finished the story, had Cody faced Seth Rollins and maybe won that championship. But yet the ultimate destination of winning the WWE Championship from Roman Reigns was still out there. We're still waiting. And who knows? Maybe The Rock would have beaten Roman Reigns to win the championship. There were reports out there that that could have happened. Could you just imagine how different WWE would be right now had that been the case? They made the right move. Maybe we should say Cody made the right move for not actually going through with that, or if they changed it beforehand, all that. I'm sure there were plenty of, things batted around. But let me know what you guys think about this. Can you believe it? Can you actually believe this was what happened? Cody was actually, maybe not doing what he was supposed to do, and or they discussed this beforehand. Maybe this was like the initial pitch, is that they thought that Cody should have done it this way, or did this just happen on the fly? Cody sensed the room. He read the room. He understood that this was not going to go over well, and this is what happened. Very curious. But let me know what you guys think. As always, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and weigh in your thoughts on this comment from Brian Gewirtz about Cody Rhodes